Hello, thank you very much for inviting me to speak at your AGM, and my apologies for not being there in person. My name is Harriet Carty, and I'm the Director of Caring for God's Acre. Caring for God's Acre is a conservation charity for burial grounds of all types, sizes and denominations, ranging from small medieval churchyards to large urban cemeteries and green burial grounds. Caring for God's Acre has been running now for over 25 years, set up originally in the South Shropshire Hills area, where we are still based. We are a national charity, active mainly in England and Wales. Caring for God's Acre started as a response to the importance of churchyards for biodiversity, the difficulty in managing them, and the burden they can be for those volunteers who care for them. We offer support, guidance, understanding, and also help to raise awareness and to generate new volunteers. Demand for this proved high, and we have been growing in influence since then, although there is still a very long way to go. So why are burial grounds so good for wildlife? And I don't intend to tell you about the lichens. Let's start with trees. They hold our oldest trees, the veteran and ancient yews, which are of international importance. There's no population like this anywhere else. Our older sites often have other veteran trees as well, with all of the associated species that this important habitat holds. Most burial grounds do have mature trees, often planted in Victorian times, and this would include our urban cemeteries, which are Victorian in date. In urban settings in particular, large trees are becoming scarce, and so this is increasing in importance. Most churchyards, chapel yards and cemeteries were consecrated before the widespread loss of species-rich grassland, and so hold a fragment of this threatened habitat. Many burial grounds now have areas managed as meadows, so the wildflowers there can be enjoyed, but even in those mown short and unable to flower, the turf may be intact, with the range of plants, lichens, fungi, microbes and animal life that this holds, just waiting to be released. As well as the veteran trees, species-rich grassland, and of course the lichens, burial grounds are refuges for more common species, many of which have in the last few decades become threatened. Look for hedgehog droppings, swifts, swallows and martin nests, and both reptiles and amphibians, particularly slowworm. We encourage species recording and sharing of records of species found within burial grounds, and, in partnership with the NBN, have a portal within their atlas which draws together species found within the mapped sites. This has been running since 2019, and whilst there are lots of gaps, missing records, or records at a resolution that doesn't fit with this system, it is useful and is improving year on year. We are always pleased to see the British Lichen Society records, and will be interested to see if we can do more with these, working with your society. This slide shows the records from Canterbury Cathedral, which could be used to fine-tune management, perhaps supplying early nectar sources for the flower bee, noting whether swift are actually nesting on the cathedral, and making deadwood piles for the hedgehog. Another map of another system. These are the church heritage records of England and Wales. Whilst mainly holding built heritage information, we have worked with both the Church of England and the Church in Wales to include more biodiversity too. The church heritage record is used when planning change, the church faculty system, And again, we would love to work with the British Lichen Society to make the lichen data within it more useful to those who are making planning decisions. We have 3 new projects just starting that I am keen to share with you and very much hope will include lichen-focused activities, production of learning resources and surveying. These are Nature in Sacred Places, Havanai Heddwch, which means Havens of Peace, and a Warwickshire-based project, Churchyard Biodiversity and Heritage Project. All have received money from the National Lottery Heritage Fund for a development phase, which lasts between 1 and 2 years. Following that, a further application is made for a delivery stage, which lasts either 4 or 5 years, depending on the project. Nature in Sacred Places builds on a previous project called Bats in Churches, which was also led by Natural England and was a partnership project, although Caring for God's Acre were not involved in that one. We plan to engage local communities with the wildlife in churches and churchyards, with a general focus on cities, but not exclusively so. To engage children through family activities, schools, clubs and challenge badges. Work directly with at least 150 churches to create management plans for both people and wildlife, from the bats in the buildings to the churchyard. Train and build capacity amongst professional ecologists, architects and builders regarding churches and churchyards and their special wildlife that needs protection and consideration. We see a lot of opportunities to involve the British Lichen Society in this work and would again enjoy the opportunity to discuss this. Havanai Heddwch will work with burial grounds of all types, including churchyards, cemeteries and chapel yards. The cemeteries will include those of other faiths, such as the historic Jewish cemeteries to be found within Wales. We will engage local communities with their burial ground so that they get involved in the management and support the often dwindling number of hard-pressed volunteers. We'll explore Welsh culture, history and folklore to be found within these sites, including that of the Welsh saints. We'll research the carbon stored within burial grounds, both in the above-ground vegetation and also that within the soil. We'll investigate grassland fungi, working with Aberystwyth University to test for mycelium eDNA in a few selected sites. We'll encourage better management and celebration of Wales's amazing population of veteran ewes. And we'll tell all of these stories through a variety of ways in order to further engage and enthuse people. We're developing this project through a series of pilots and could create a further pilot focused on lichens if that would be of interest. The catchily named Churchyard Biodiversity and Heritage Project is based in Warwickshire and is being run by the Coventry Diocese of the Church of England. This project is further along in its development than the other two and has staff in place. It aims to work with between 50 to 80 church communities, investigating and surveying their churchyards for biodiversity, and also for built heritage and the stories to be found within the stones, the stories of those whose graves are there and who are memorialised. We plan to create management plans that take account of people and wildlife, and also to build links with interest groups, universities and recording groups such as the British Lichen Society. If there are any of you who are based in or near Warwickshire and would like to get involved, please get in touch and I'll put you in touch with the staff and particularly the project manager, Alison Wilkes. I'm sure there's a lot that we could do to involve lichens in this project, either during development or in delivery. Hopefully, you can see lots of opportunities in many regions of the UK. Mary Steer and I plan to meet up in February to discuss collaborative opportunities, but you can also get in touch with me directly by email if you prefer. Thank you very much.